Meet Wang Ling, your not-so-average high schooler with god-tier powers he can barely keep in check. This dude's abilities are so OP, they could literally break reality if he's not careful. These extraordinary abilities hold the potential to wreak havoc on the world if they ever spiral out of control. For most of his life, Wang Ling chooses to live under the radar, embracing a low-key existence to avoid drawing attention to himself. He navigates his early years with caution, always mindful of the immense power he harbors within. However, everything changes when he turns 16 and steps into the turbulent world of senior high school. Here, the stakes are higher, and he finds himself facing new and daunting challenges. Among these challenges is his unexpected connection with Su Rong, the enchanting heiress of a prominent family. As he navigates the social dynamics of high school, Wang Ling must make tough and clever decisions to keep his powers under control, while also protecting the delicate balance of peace in the world around him. Each challenge he encounters tests not only his abilities but also his resolve to maintain his secrecy and avoid catastrophic consequences. In the year 4386, humanity has entered the illustrious era of scientific cultivation, where ancient practices blend seamlessly with cutting-edge technology. Across the vast lands of Huaxiu, people are immersed in the art of cultivation, honing their skills and harnessing the incredible conveniences brought by advancements in cultivation technology. This period has been marked by an unparalleled sense of peace and prosperity. As communities thrive and flourish under the guidance of powerful cultivators, life seems perfect, with everyone enjoying the fruits of their labor, until one fateful day when a shadow looms over Songhai. But the peace gets yeeted out the window when a level 5 giant frog decides to go full Godzilla on the city. This absolute unit of an amphibian starts wrecking everything in the city. Panic spreads like wildfire as the enormous creature leaps through the streets, its massive form causing destruction and chaos. In response to the crisis, the elite Immortal Magic Squad springs into action, racing to confront the monstrous threat. With their flying swords infused with immense spiritual power, they launch a coordinated attack, hoping to repel the beast. However, despite their best efforts and formidable techniques, the giant frog remains undeterred, its grotesque form continuing its rampage through Songhai. Amidst the chaos, a young boy named Wang Ling finds himself in the midst of the disaster. He is the main character of this story with unparalleled spiritual power, coming out of a shop after purchasing his favorite dry noodles when the giant frog crosses his path and attacks him. A member of the Magic Squad rushes to save Wang Ling, instructing him to go home. This hero is Zhou Yi, known throughout the nation as the one who defeated the giant frog that day, the hero who saved Huaxiu. Today marks the first day of the new school year for Faction 60, the school where Wang Ling is about to embark on his senior high journey. Wang Ling's force value ranks the lowest on the freshman student's force chart, leading everyone to mock him as the force value of 5 guy. Some boys approach to bully him, but a girl confronts them, using her spiritual power to beat them back and scolding them for ridiculing Wang Ling. This girl is Su Rong, the school's most beautiful student and the legendary daughter of the Flower Fruit Water Curtain Group. She descends gracefully from the school rooftop, captivating everyone with her beauty. She extends her hand to Wang Ling for a handshake, declaring that she will protect him. However, Wang Ling simply hands her a 10 yuan bill and walks away, saying, "Thanks for the offer." Su Rong and the others stand dumbfounded at what just transpired. All the students gather on the ground in front of a screen, because a test on spiritual force is about to determine their class placements. Zhou Yi, the national hero, welcomes them, interacting with them through his alma mater. He informs the students that those with high spiritual power scores will be assigned to the elite class. One by one, each student steps into the test chamber. The first student enters, resembling an author of an animation. He panics upon seeing the incarnation of the demon giant frog, whose spiritual force attacked the human world 10 years ago. Guided by the teacher, he summons all his force to strike the giant frog's head. Despite his determination, he bounces back, and the teacher announces that he will be placed in the ordinary class after seeing his score. Many students follow, but their scores are disappointingly low. Then, a muscular student named Chen Chao takes his turn, scoring an impressive 938, securing his spot in the elite class. Another student, a slightly pudgy boy named Guo Hao, scores 886 and also enters the elite class. Meanwhile, the giant frog sealed beneath the school building curses the humans for using him as a target to test freshmen' spiritual power each year. It thinks that by gradually absorbing the students' force, it will one day break the seal and escape its confinement. Next up is Sun Rong, a strikingly pretty girl with high force value. She scores an astounding 2019 points, the highest among all the students, prompting cheers and praises from her peers. Finally, it's Wang Ling's turn. The students murmur among themselves, doubting he can even touch the giant frog due to his weak reputation. The moment the sealed giant frog sees him, it cannot believe its eyes and mutters, "It's him." Flashback to a decade ago. Songhai's getting wrecked by Frogzilla, and Zhou Yi's all "Wang Ling, go home, you're just a kid." Plot twist. Zhou Yi gets his butt handed to him by the jumbo amphibian. But then, 6-year-old Wang Ling steps up and goes full anime protagonist mode, absolutely demolishing the frog. Talk about a glow-up story. The giant frog now recognizes Wang Ling as the boy it encountered years ago. Wang Ling gathers his minimal force, deciding to pretend he's using his maximum output, so that no one can see his true power. The giant frog panics, fearing that a single hit from Wang Ling will finish it off for good this time. Wang Ling attacks, and the screen cuts off the students outside from witnessing the outcome. The giant frog lies upside down, appearing dead. Wang Ling realizes it is merely feigning death. A teacher arrives and informs Wang Ling that he is being placed in the elite class. Their first lecture begins, and the teacher teaches them how to summon a spiritual beast. The class practices their summoning skills, leading to hilarious results. Chen Chao summons a pink stick, and Guo Hao conjures a skirt instead of a spiritual beast, causing the entire class to erupt in laughter. Meanwhile, Su Rong summons the spiritual body of a stray dog, impressing everyone with her talent. The teacher then turns to Wang Ling, the only student left to try. Nervous and unsure of what creature he might summon, Wang Ling uses a small amount of his power. To his surprise, he summons the giant frog. Ms. Pan, the teacher, hurls the dog summoned by Su Rong at the giant frog, and the two combine to create an adorable green puppy. The whole class is in awe at its cuteness, eagerly naming it Froggy 2. This is a story of how one day Wang Ling saved his parents' marriage, but there was a twist in the plot. 6-month-old Wang Ling woke up, rubbing his eyes adorably, when his dad showed him a limited edition dragon-slaying sword he had bought for him with his savings. As the chosen one, Wang Ling had to endure a lot from a young age because he could hear what people thought. Though he could not speak that day, he heard his mom and dad's thoughts, which were completely opposite to what they said to each other. Sugar-coated, if we're being honest. Wang Ling faced his first philosophical challenge when his dad asked him to hold the sword. If he didn't hold it, he would have to deal with mom and dad drama for the rest of his life. And if he did, the sword probably wouldn't be able to withstand the spiritual power in his fingertips. While his parents fought like Tom and Jerry, Wang Ling used every millisecond to cleverly decide how to handle the situation. But at that crucial moment, he peed his pants. This was how urine saved a marriage. At the age of 10, Wang Ling struggled to control his force. For the first time in their lives, his parents reached a unified conclusion. They would stick to one principle for the sake of their son, staying low-key for life. Wang Ling's dad made a counterfeit amulet and had him wear it before he went to primary school, while his mom gave him a golden pill daily to ensure the amulet worked effectively. Despite this, Wang Ling still grappled with controlling his spiritual power and unintentionally broke many things he touched, including his mom's steel chopsticks and bowls. His dad assured him that he was creating a more powerful amulet that would be ready soon. Buckle up, fam, because Wang Ling's life is a non-stop roller coaster of epic fails and jaw-dropping moments. We're talking accidental pyrotechnics on his birthday and unintentional strip shows with his friends. It's a whole mood. On his 7th birthday, he accidentally set the house on fire while blowing out the candles. At 10, he unintentionally took his friend's clothes off while playing. All his parents wanted was for him to have an ordinary life like other kids. So, before entering senior high school, Wang Ling decided to keep a low profile until the new amulet was finished. One morning, Wang Ling enters school and notices a lot of festivities happening inside. He tries to avoid them all, but can't resist going to the shop to get some dry noodles. Sun Rong makes a grand entrance, like a Miss Universe, as she is the goddess of the school running for class president. Everyone, including Wang Ling, is mesmerized by her beauty. Sun Rong offers free snacks in exchange for votes, while Chen Chao and Guo Hao confront her, calling it cheating. Wang Ling happily agrees to trade 5 votes for 5 packs of dry noodles. Using her charm, Sun Rong effortlessly makes everyone vote for her. After casting his vote and grabbing his noodles, Wang Ling gives a golden pill to one of Sun Rong's bodyguards, feeling he owes her something. Impressed by Wang Ling, Sun Rong inadvertently causes him to fail at staying low-key on his first day. They all head to class, where the teacher begins a lecture on the spell of seduction, while Sun Rong continues to brainstorm tactics to win over her classmates. Wang Ling realizes that Sun Rong used her charm in the shop to secure votes. Thankfully, he has balanced the scales by giving her a golden pill, which keeps him safe from her seduction spell. However, he can still sense her attempts to seduce him. He gestures to Sun Rong to eat the golden pill he gave her. Naive Sun Rong thinks he's helping her boost her spiritual power and consumes it immediately, unaware that those pills are actually low-power pills. Suddenly, Sun Rong feels as if she is plummeting from 30,000 feet, her spiritual power diminishing and breaking her seduction spell. The teacher calls her to demonstrate the topic he's lecturing on. It seems he has read her mind and chosen the topic of seduction on purpose. Or maybe it's just Sun Rong's bad luck. Low on energy that she can't walk straight, she slips on a soda can, but our hero, Wang Ling, the master of spiritual power, saves her by placing his hand on her back. This is Wang Ling's moment to shine, but just as the teacher calls him, he pulls his hand back, causing Sun Rong to tumble to the ground. Everyone votes for Chen Chao as class president, rendering Sun Rong's bribery efforts useless. Meanwhile, Wang Ling concludes his day at school, having failed to maintain a low profile. His teacher notices his unique qualities and discusses them on a call with someone. That night, Sun Rong couldn't shake thoughts of Wang Ling, questioning why he supported her in the shop if he wanted her to lose. Today it is a pill refining class at school, so all the students bring their furnaces. Xiao Jing, the nerdy girl with spectacles, shows up with a Fruit Fire X-Max furnace. Chen Chao makes a dramatic entrance with a huge copper cauldron, claiming his grandpa used it to refine level 9 golden pills. He imagines impressing Sun Rong with this massive cauldron and the enormous golden pills he hopes to create. Finally, the school's most popular girl, Sun Rong, arrives, entering with a red carpet and a team of bodyguards. She calls out to Wang Ling, who is on his way to class. Wang Ling spots a weird vibe around Sun Rong and realizes he's accidentally turned into her low-key crush. Talk about task failed successfully. He approaches her to break the spell by touching her hair, but everyone thinks he is flirting. Sun Rong is left dumbfounded by her own actions. The class begins and their instructor provides a step-by-step tutorial. The students eagerly start preparing their ingredients. Chen Chao uses a spade to add ingredients to his enormous cauldron, aiming to create impressive pills. Sun Rong acts like a master at making golden pills, confidently using the modernized refiner she brought from her family's factory. Everyone is shocked to see Wang Ling using a microwave for the refining process. Guo Hao showcases his expensive antique-style furnace, boasting about its numerous functions. Suddenly, Chen Chao's cauldron explodes, ruining his attempt due to his lack of patience. The instructor tells the class they must wait 7 hours to check the results of their efforts. Meanwhile, a green dog, Froggy 2 in the refining lab, drools over the pills under production, hoping to gain power by eating some. When Wang Ling returns to the lab, he catches the Froggy 2 just in time and drives it away, while Chen Chao runs laps in a panic, fearing his dad won't forgive him for destroying the family heirloom. Wang Ling steps out of the lab with Guo Hao's furnace to clean it. Guo Hoa sees him and mistakenly thinks he is stealing it. Guo Hao pulls out his stunt gun and demands an explanation. At the same time, Chen Chao, consumed by jealousy over Wang Ling seemingly stealing Sun Rong from him, decides to attack. Caught between Chen Chao and Guo Hao, Wang Ling dodges the shot from Guo Hao's stunt gun. The pentatoxic potion instead hits Chen Chao, knocking him out cold. They carry Chen Chao's body back into the lab to figure out how to wake him up. Guo Hao and Wang Ling created an antidote pill, but it will take 4 hours to refine, so they need to hide Chen Chao's body in the meantime. Froggy 2 returns, drooling over the pills in Guo Hao's antique furnace. They notice that the heating process speeds up because of the dog's spiritual energy, so they decide to use it to expedite their pill making. Guo Hao tests the antidote on Froggy 2, first poisoning him with the pentatoxic potion, and then administering the antidote, which works perfectly. They quickly give the antidote pill to Chen Chao. Unfortunately, they hear footsteps. The instructor and other students are coming. Guo Hao rushes outside to distract them, while Wang Ling hides Chen Chao, even tossing some of his own golden pills into Guo Hao's furnace to save himself from the instructor's scolding. Wang Ling ends up getting scolded by the instructor, which leads Guo Hao to believe in their friendship. Hilariously, it's just Guo Hao's delusion. Wang Ling hasn't done anything to earn that trust. He didn't exchange any pills, and his microwave actually failed to produce a golden pill. After a while, Chen Chao wakes up to find Wang Ling and Guo Hao have repaired his broken cauldron. Overwhelmed with gratitude, he hugs Wang Ling tightly, tears streaming down his face. On that afternoon, a scent of hormones floats in the air on campus. Sun Rong walks towards her target, Wang Ling, who has no idea what's coming his way. However, a twist of fate reveals two men lurking in the distance, aiming a firearm at her. Sun Rong's focus is on Wang Ling, but she inadvertently becomes someone else's target. She boldly asks Wang Ling for a date, but in that moment he senses the presence of the men about to shoot her. With a mere thought, he uses his spiritual power to stop them without even moving from his chair. "Date me!" Sun Rong shouts to grab his attention, leaving the entire class stunned by her audacity while Chen Chao faces heartbreak. Before Wang Ling can respond, the teacher enters and calls him to the office. The shooters lose sight of Sun Rong, and their boss orders them to withdraw from the mission. The teacher introduces Wang Ling to Master Zhuo Yi, the joint honorary master of the school league. He asks Wang Ling if he is the little kid who defeated the giant demon frog a year ago and kneels, expressing his desire to take Wang Ling as his master. Instead of using his full power, Wang Ling taps into 50% of his abilities, casting a trick of forgetfulness that makes Zhuo Yi forget the past event. The next morning, Wang Ling wakes up in a sweat, haunted by Sun Rong's dream where she shouts at him to date her. He gets up, looks out the window, and sees Sun Rong standing outside with her bodyguards and a limousine. His parents urge him not to be nervous about the date, and as usual, they start bickering with each other. Having never been on a date before, Wang Ling feels an odd mixture of excitement and anxiety, secretly hoping the shooters targeting Sun Rong will appear so he won't have to spend too much time with her. As Sun Rong is the heiress of a wealthy family, the entire date is under public scrutiny. The assassins receive the order from their boss to attack Sun Rong that day, tracking the car she and Wang Ling leave in for their date. Sun Rong takes Wang Ling to Heavenly Paradise, a theme park built by her grandfather. Wang Ling grows increasingly nervous as he watches Sun Rong's excitement. They approach the fairy's mouth statue, which predicts the future. Suddenly, the assassins strike, shooting at Sun Rong. But Wang Ling catches the bullet, traveling at the speed of light, with his teeth, making Sun Rong mistakenly believe he is smiling at her. They enjoy ride after ride, with the assassins relentlessly attacking Sun Rong. Wang Ling saves her each time, effortlessly using his spiritual power with a snap of his fingers, swiftly erasing all traces of assassins' attacks from her memory. They hop onto the Ferris wheel, and Wang Ling looks forward to this moment of tranquility. As they enjoy the fireworks display from above, he becomes momentarily distracted, giving the assassins a chance to infiltrate their ride and point guns at them. Sun Rong asks the assailants if they belong to the Shadow faction, pleading them to let Wang Ling go. However, Wang Ling stands up and sends the assassins soaring through the air with just a single touch of his immense spiritual force. Zhuo Yi, watching from a distance, is once again astounded by Wang Ling's power. Rather than erase all memories of this day from Sun Rong's mind, Wang Ling uses 100% of his promise trick for the first time, making a vow to Sun Rong to keep this day a secret preserved in her memories. Love hangs in the air that night. The boss of the Shadow faction holds a meeting to discipline her men for failing to fulfill their client's request to kill Sun Rong. The next day at school, the assassins return in their flying helicopter, scanning for their targets. Sun Rong and Wang Ling, who saved her the previous day. Sun Rong approaches Wang Ling, who stands with his friends. Their teacher informs her that the assassins who attacked her at Heavenly Paradise are still active, so she will be under special protection today. Sun Rong insists she and Wang Ling merely had fun there and didn't encounter any threats. Wang Ling feels a wave of relief wash over him, glad to see that his promise trick has worked. Zhuo Yi appears, claiming it's because he got rid of the assassins last night, though he pretends to do so as Wang Ling instructed. He informs Sun Rong that he has put special security measures in place at school to protect her from the Shadow faction's impending attack. Armed troops secure the areas outside the gate, while school security guards patrol the spaces between the enclosing walls. Inside the building, a large team of high combat-level bodyguards dispatched by Sun Rong's father stands ready. Zhuo Yi advises Sun Rong to stay in the teacher's office, where he has deployed a protective force field, making it secure against any potential assaults. Additionally, a 7-star squad team is in the air, monitoring for snipers and aerial threats. An assassin sneaks into the school through an underground tunnel, swiftly dispatching a few guards with his agile moves. It's Xu Feng, the 3rd member of the Hammer team. He's not just any assassin, but a master with an array of special skills. While Zhuo Yi and the teacher monitor the actions of the assassins, 4 kids in class remain glued to their phones, busy chatting in their group about the chaotic situation unfolding around them. The elite bodyguards reassure Zhuo Yi not to worry, claiming they'll handle the assassins in the lobby. Suddenly, they are caught off guard by toxic gas, and Zhu Ying, the 2nd member of the Hammer team, appears. Zhu Ying faces a powerful attack from Mr. Wang, a school teacher who is ready for a fight. On the roof, another assassin, Xu Jian, the leader of the Hammer team, is ready for using his strength. Due to his invisibility trick, even the 7-star squad fails to spot him. Armed with a massive magical hammer, he becomes an imposing threat. Sun Rong, Wang Ling, Chen Chao, Guo Hao, and Zhuo Yi watch Mr. Wang on the screen, engaged in a fierce battle with Xu Ying in the lobby. Xu Ying wields a thunder hammer capable of demolishing walls in the blink of an eye. Mr. Wang mocks the weapon, calling it a toy bought from an online store, but Xu Ying retaliates with a toxic burst, bringing him down. Wang Ling rushes out of the room just as the door slams into Xu Ying's forehead, knocking him to the ground. However, Wang Ling is in a hurry to collect his delivery of dry noodles, so he apologizes and hurriedly heads to receive his order. Meanwhile, Xu Feng easily dispatches the cruiser team, but then encounters Froggy 2 and becomes distracted, taking a moment to pat him, as he is fond of puppies. Froggy 2 bites Xu Feng's hand, draining his spiritual force and transforming into a massive creature. Xu Jian on the rooftop thinks no one can see him due to his invisibility trick. But suddenly, Wang Ling starts talking to him after receiving his package. Wang Ling apologizes, stating that their assassination plan has failed. In response, Xu Jian raises his hammer, channeling all his force into an attack. The power is so immense that even people 100 miles away feel it, yet it does nothing to Wang Ling, who sits there casually enjoying his noodles. Zhuo Yi comes rushing, calling out, "Master!" to Wang Ling. But Wang Ling swiftly uses his forgetting trick on him, making Zhuo Yi believe he is the one who dealt with the assassin, not Wang Ling. To further his ruse, Wang Ling pretends to faint after getting hurt, successfully fooling Sun Rong and his friends. Wang Ling takes a sick leave to make his act of getting hurt by Xu Jian's hammer attack seem authentic. As a low-profile hero, he gives all the credit to Zhuo Yi to avoid drawing too much attention to himself. Sun Rong becomes so worried that she hires the best medical experts and arranges a private healing cabin for him. Wang Ling's mom brings him breakfast in bed, asking how long he plans to pretend to be sick, noting that he has already missed 10 days of classes. The doorbell rings, and it's Chen Chao, Guo Hao, and Sun Rong, each carrying a variety of gifts to pay Wang Ling a visit on behalf of the school. Guo Hao's pet, Birdie 2, perches on Wang Ling's healing cabin, calling him Camel, which sends the group into fits of laughter. Wang Ling curses the parrot silently in his mind. Wang Ling's mom serves them tea, and Sun Rong seizes the opportunity to make a good impression on her by offering a collection of gifts, including ultimate elixirs, nutrition pills, chicken blood tonic injections, and more. Sun Rong sits close to Wang Ling's bed and expresses her deep concern. She recounts how scared she was to see him lying unconscious that day, even going so far as to call for his family's chopper. Sun Rong pulls out the chicken blood tonic, combined it with her spiritual power infusion, and prepare an injection for Wang Ling. Meanwhile, Chen Chao brings out the spiritual power test watch that Mr. Wang asked him to place on Wang Ling. Wang Ling sits up, declaring that he feels better and plans to return to school the next day to escape Sun Rong's injection. Chen Chao shows them how the watch operates. Cut to Songhai Faction 59's HQ, where a sea of students rock these high-tech test watches. It's like Apple Watch meets Hogwarts, and everyone's itching to flex their spiritual muscles. A boy with glasses, Tang Jingze, the chairman of Songhai Faction 59 Union, orders Liang Zheng, a strong-looking boy, to test his power. The watch displays a disappointing 1950 points, prompting laughter from the other students for such a low score. Next, Tang Jingze takes his turn, and his spiritual power impressively registers at 4379 points, placing him first among all students on the national ranking chart. The crowd erupts in cheers, shouting that Songhai Faction 59 will emerge victorious. Back in Wang Ling's room, Guo Hao, representing Songhai Section 60, tests his score and receives just 176 points. Devastated, he contemplates jumping out the window after seeing his score. Sun Rong steps up next, creating a power sphere to check her score. She achieves 15 points, securing second place on national ranking chart. Finally, Wang Ling wears the watch to test his score. He uses a little fraction of his power to create a sphere, but it's so strong that it causes the watch to malfunction. He relocates the power sphere into space, resulting in a score of null. Surprisingly, he ends up at the top of the ranking sheet, leaving everyone at Faction 59 in a state of confusion. Later that night, Wang Ling asks Guo Hao to hack the ranking system of the Cultivation Council School League to adjust his score to 175, hoping to make everyone forget his first place on the ranking chart and make them assume it was a system error. The IT team at Songhai Faction 59 discovers someone other than them is hacking the system from Songhai Faction 60. While making the changes, Guo Hao accidentally triggers an alarm, putting them at risk of being caught and expelled from school. Guo Hao, harboring a grudge against Tang Jingze, cheekily changes his name on the ranking sheet to Tang Bride 2 before escaping the system without being caught. Tang Jingze's classmates come to laugh at him for losing his first place to an unknown contender, taunting him that they will meet Wang Ling and Sun Rong at the sword competition next month. Tang Jingze eagerly anticipates the event, eager to see what they possess to achieve such high scores. The results of the National Senior Phase Cultivation School Power Show test are announced. Mr. Wang and Ms. Pan, teachers at Songhai Faction 60, engage in a discussion about how Wang Ling, who has been below average in class, ranks number 1 nationally. In the past 100 years, Songhai Faction 60 has competed against Songhai Faction 59 in 24 contests, yet they haven't won a single match against them. At the Songhai Faction 59 training field, participants practice their sword skills in preparation for the National Senior Phase Sword Competition. Reporters claim that, based on their capabilities, they are favored to win the competition. During an interview, Tang Jingze states that his team has undergone rigorous training for a month and will give their all in the competition. He further wishes good luck to his rivals, Sun Rong and Wang Ling. Meanwhile, Zhuo Yi and the two teachers deliberate on the participants for the first round of competition. Ms. Pan expresses her concerns, revealing that she used the students' bodybuilding lectures for theory lessons, and now she is anxious about her students' capabilities in the sword competition. She questions why there are only 4 names on the list when they need 5 according to the competition rules. Zhuo Yi points to Froggy 2 as the 5th participant, leaving Ms. Pan in disbelief. He asserts that they should not underestimate a spiritual beast and transforms his body into a human form, which looks quite bizarre and weird, prompting him to revert back to his original dog form. Froggy 2 enters the ranking sheet for the power test and scores an impressive 5,000 points, surpassing Tang Jingze and claiming second place. As school ends, all of them went home. During the evening, Chen Chao practices his woodcutting skills. Guo Hao plays his new video game. Wang Ling reads a book, and Sun Rong engages in a live chat with her fans on social media. Mr. Wang creates a WeChat group to inform the 4 of them, along with Froggy 2, that they have been selected by the school as participants in the National Senior Phase Sword Competition, ordering them to prepare their spirit swords within 3 days. Chen Chao's father hands him a sword called Li Chao, which is larger than Chen Chao's arm. He proudly showcases it in the group chat. Guo Hao follows suit, presenting his level 3 spiritual sword crafted from the teeth of a night devil tiger. Sun Rong reveals her spiritual sword named Ocean, which shines brightly as the sword spirit has already formed within it. To everyone's surprise, Froggy 2 also possesses a sword, called the Sword of Sky, despite being a dog, stunning everyone present. Mr. Wang guides them, explaining that to produce a sword spirit, they must practice patience. In the early stages, the sword spirit's form is chaotic, but with dedicated effort, it can solidify into a compact body akin to a small beast or human. He told them that in the past, some sword spirits even possessed the ability to think, along with other powers. Wang Ling remains quiet in the chat room, prompting his friends to urge him to show his sword. Meanwhile, at Faction 59, Tang Jingze informs his teacher that their spiritual swords are ready. He reveals that their fifth participant will be that man, whom they discussed utilizing to gain an edge against Faction 60. That man is Hu Bufeng, but the question looms. What powers does he possess that lead Faction 59 to consider him their ace in the hole? Wang Ling feels a growing anxiety about his participation in the upcoming sword competition, because he knows that revealing his true power might incite widespread panic among his teammates and opponents alike. However, his teammates and instructor take this competition very seriously, treating it with the utmost gravity, so he reluctantly decides that he must show them his sword after their constant requests become too insistent to ignore. He heads downstairs, where he finds his parents engrossed in the news on TV, watching a report about an explosion that occurred due to the careless use of a magic item that possesses a high density of spiritual force. Another news segment covers the recent discovery of the Shadow Faction's headquarters by armored cruise troops, leading to the arrest of several shadow hunters involved in suspicious activities. As the news unfolds, Zhuo Yi appears on screen, boldly pointing out the leader of the Shadow Faction and expressing his eagerness to confront her in the near future. Wang Ling, feeling a sense of urgency, asks his parents about the whereabouts of his sword, and they suggest that he check in the storeroom where it is likely kept. Upon opening the box, to his surprise, a white-haired boy emerges, greeting him with the words, "It has been 10 years. This unexpected visitor turns out to be Wang Ling's sword spirit." The following day, the participants from Faction 60 are set to visit Faction 59 in order to familiarize themselves with the venue and prepare for the competition ahead. Wang Ling rolls up with a wooden sword that looks like it came straight out of Fisher-Price. He's about to flex on his team with his glorified stick, but even he knows it's a total meme, since they will be staying at the Faction 59 building for 5 days during the competition. All the other participants have packed their luggage and essentials, but Wang Ling arrives empty-handed, as he is planning to pretend to have a stomachache in order to escape the rigors of the competition. As they board the bus, Zhuo Yi waves at Wang Ling and calls out, "Goodbye, master." Meanwhile, the leader of the Shadow Faction is meticulously plotting to eliminate Zhuo Yi by laying a trap specifically designed for him, which also involves the destruction of the building using a time bomb that she has strategically placed. She places a call to the armored troops, giving them a fake tip that would lead them directly into her trap. All the while, she prepares to go after Sun Rong with the intention of killing her. Wang Ling advises his sword spirit to remain hidden from everyone, fearing that its sudden appearance might frighten those around them, and in a light-hearted gesture, he offers it some dry noodles in exchange for its compliance. It is amusing how nothing, not even the gravitas of the situation, can rival Wang Ling's deep love for dry noodles. Finally, the bus arrives at Faction 59, where Ms. Pan of Faction 60 and Ms. Z of Faction 59 exchange deadly glares, as if they are preparing to eat each other alive, despite the fact that they were once very close friends in the past. The tension between them escalates as they begin to trade sharp taunts and recount various past stories, with the fire of rivalry burning fiercely in their veins. Wang Ling, meanwhile, is feeling increasingly anxious as he waits for a chance to fake his stomachache, hoping for the perfect moment to make his escape. Ms. C, with her keen eye for talent, uses her grand testing technique on Wang Ling, prompting him to seize the opportunity and fall to the ground, pretending to feel ill. However, in a turn of events that no one could have predicted, Wang Ling's amulets suddenly start to break, unleashing a massive amount of power that causes the earth to tremble and the sky to shake violently. This overwhelming outburst is the resonance of his peachwood sword, which had been simulating the counterfeit amulet all along. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Wang Ling understands that he needs to take a power-dropping pill as soon as possible. Otherwise, he risks losing complete control over his formidable abilities. As everyone around him wonders what has happened to Wang Ling and who might have tried to harm him, they remain blissfully unaware that it is merely a sudden and uncontrollable surge of his own spiritual power. Sun Rong, concerned for her friend, tries to wake Wang Ling up, but he remains fully engrossed in his acting game, committed to maintaining the facade. Meanwhile, the leader of the Shadow Faction receives a call informing her that her carefully laid plan has failed, as Zhuo Yi managed to catch on in time, while she observes Wang Ling's performance from her car. Fortunately for Wang Ling, everything has proceeded according to his plan up until this very moment. The paramedics arrive and take Wang Ling inside on a stretcher, Sun Rong is worried sick about him and follows, but Tang Jingzi stops her, asking if she remembers him from cultivation cram school and introducing himself as the chairman of the Faction 59 Union. Sun Rong rudely tells him to get out of her way and throws a punch, which Yi Bei, the secretary of the Faction 59 Union, intercepts. To provoke the Faction 60 participants, Tang Jingzi uses his power to attack the unconscious Wang Ling, igniting a spiritual fire on his body. Ms. She quickly intervenes, wrapping him in bandages that make him look like a mummy, and advises the paramedics to take Wang Ling to the medical room. Unable to bear the cruelty, Sun Rong draws her spiritual sword to attack Tang Jingzi, but Mr. Wang stops her and tells everyone to calm down. Tang Jingzi apologizes, but no one realizes it isn't him. It's Hu Bufeng who attacked Wang Ling from a rooftop. In the lab, when the paramedics unwrap the bandages, they find Wang Ling missing. He has escaped. He feels unwell, and his amulet is damaged. Any further damage could trigger a power explosion, inducing a calamity that could destroy the world. He calls his father, telling him that his amulet seal is breaking and asking him to bring a new amulet to Faction 59 ASAP while he finds a way to sneak out. His dad arrives, flying on his spiritual sword. Meanwhile, the other students head to the gym where Ms. Z briefs them about the rules of the sword competition. There are 5 altars on the field: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. When a player inserts their sword into an altar, it begins to accumulate their score. The more altars they occupy, the higher their score increases. The team that reaches 100% first will win. The competition is set to take place on Faction 60's campus, but due to the previous attack by the Shadow Faction, the location changes to Faction 59's campus. Wang Ling's lost AF in the Faction 60 Maza, his GPS skills on the fritz, but his words spirit like, "Bro, I got you," and becomes his personal Google Maps. Talk about a spiritual Siri. In the gym, Tang Jingzi mocks the Faction 60 team, now only 3 humans and 1 dog. Faction 59's Hu Bufeng makes a flashy entrance, generating a wave of water and throwing it at the Faction 60 team. He jumps behind Sun Rong and presents her with a red rose, trying to flirt, but she rejects it, stating she doesn't even know him. Chen Chao approaches to punch him, but Hu Bufeng tosses him into the air with his extraordinary spiritual power. Sun Rong rejects his flower again, which infuriates him. He takes it out on Chen Chao, beating him mercilessly. Yet Chen Chao rises again, determined to uphold his family's dignity, and charges at Hu Bufeng, using the technique of annihilation. This strikes the negative energy with the spiritual force of his cultivator's body, shattering Chen Chao's arm and sending him flying toward the door, right when Wang Ling enters and catches Chen Chao. Wang Ling's dad calls, but he's stuck in a tight spot and can't sneak out for his amulet. Hu Bufeng is stunned to see Chen Chao's arm repaired. He can't fathom how anyone could have done it in an instant. Hu Bufeng decides to test Wang Ling's power by throwing a punch at him, but Wang Ling endures it as if he has no spiritual power left, even though his amulet seal is on the verge of breaking. He walks towards Sun Rong with the flower he pilfered from Hu Bufeng's pocket, making Hu Bufeng act like a maniac. The entire Faction 60 team heads into the preparation room while Wang Ling lingers behind, using getting dry noodles as an excuse. The leader of the Shadow Faction roams inside Faction 59's building, spying on Wang Ling. Hu Bufeng spots her, but she pretends to be a Faction 59 student on cleaning duty. He catches her and presents her with a bouquet of roses, asking her out and promising to help her with anything, but she turns him down. Hu Bufeng calls her a silly old lady, provoking her. She punches him, declaring that the last person who called her that now lies in his grave. Hu Bufeng gets excited, thinking he has a rival of his level, and gathers his negative energy to attack her, but she destroys it in a millisecond. Wang Ling watches her torment Hu Bufeng, and she gives him an evil smirk. The leader of the Shadow Faction, Zhang Luying, ties both Hu Bufeng and Wang Ling with immortal binding ropes. She taunts Wang Ling, moving him around with her feet and mockingly calling him a big shot, as she notices Su Rong's evident concern for him. Little does she realize she's dancing with an extremely dangerous spiritual force bomb. If Wang Ling's amulet seal bursts, the resulting force could obliterate the entire world. Suddenly, an old man approaches and grabs Hu Bufeng's hair, cutting a few strands with a swift motion. In the office, Ms. Pan and Ms. C are engaged in a heated exchange of taunts when Hu Bufeng enters, claiming that Wang Ling has been kidnapped. However, it isn't really Hu Bufeng. It's Zhang Liuying, who has transformed into him using Hu Bufeng's hair as a disguise. Hu Bufeng, desperate, bribes the old man into untying him, insisting that he has wanted to join the Shadow faction for a long time. However, the immortal binding ropes can only be undone by Zhang Liuying herself. Offended by Hu Bufeng's disrespect, the old man, who serves as Zhang Liuying's driver, retaliates by intimidating him with his overwhelming power. Zhou Yi also arrives at the Faction 59 campus, scanning the surroundings. Zhang Liuying, rocking her Hu Bufeng cosplay, drops a fake story about Wang Ling getting snatched. Zhou Yi's like, "Hold up, what's this girl look like?" And boom, he connects the dots. He spills the tea that this chick is actually the big boss of the Shadow faction. Talk about a plot twist. Tang Jingzhe promptly instructs Xiaobei to calculate Wang Ling's possible location. Meanwhile, some individuals masquerading as Sun Rong's bodyguards restrain her, but she fiercely fights back, declaring that saving Wang Ling is her top priority, not the competition or school honor. As the representative of the Flower Fruit Group, she vows to lead her armed bodyguards on a mission to rescue Wang Ling. On the rooftop, Wang Ling falls asleep while hanging, comfortably tied up, feeling relaxed because he doesn't have to figure out how to evade the competition anymore. The old man approaches Hu Bufeng, digs a hole in the floor, and Hu Bufeng falls in, shouting for help as he disappears from sight. Sun Rong's bodyguards fly to the rooftop to confront the old man on her orders, but they are quickly overwhelmed by his Wolfberry superpower attack, rendering them ineffective. The old driver concentrates his energy and creates a massive yellow disc treasure house in the sky, from which armed cavalry start to emerge on horseback. Sun Rong swiftly destroys it with the power of her spiritual sword, showcasing her prowess. Outside, Wang Ling's father is trying to persuade security guards to let him inside the Faction 59 building. Meanwhile, Sun Rong continues to battle the cavalry, but the old man taunts her, calling her naive and asserting that their combined power far exceeds her capabilities. In a moment of desperation, Wang Ling rewinds time, hanging the old driver from the rooftop. Zhou Yi confidently asserts that he is the one who took down the old driver from the Shadow faction. The armored troops arrive, executing a precise rescue of the hostages at Zhou Yi's command. Wang Ling refrains from informing them about Hu Bufeng's fall into the hole. Instead, he orders his sword spirit Jinke to keep a vigilant watch on Hu Bufeng. Wang Ling's playing 4D chess here. If Faction 59 can't find Hu Bufeng, the whole competition gonna get Thanos snapped. No comp means no Wang Ling meltdown. It's a win-win, baby. The next day, Wang Ling's carefully laid plan comes crashing down when he sees Hu Bufeng standing right in front of him. But it's not the real Hu Bufeng. It's Zhang Liuying impersonating him, a cruel twist of fate. The competition officially begins and their mobile phones are confiscated, replaced with specially designed Bluetooth devices for communication with teammates. The organizers announce that flying on swords is prohibited. Competitors may only soar up to 5 meters above the ground. Destiny seems to relish in irony, as Wang Ling finds himself participating in the very competition he has desperately tried to evade. Resolved, he decides to give his all for the sake of his friends who risked everything to save him. As the match officially begins, they all step onto the field, filled with anticipation. Wang Ling's father rushes in, eager to give him his new amulet, but it's too late. Wang Ling has already teleported to the competition field. Zhou Yi greets Wang Ling's father, who quickly informs him about the troubling situation with the amulet. The tension rises as the competitors prepare for the challenges ahead. Yi Shabei of Faction 59 skillfully hacks into the system to check the spiritual force of each member on her team, as well as their rivals. To her surprise, she discovers that Hu Bufeng's spiritual force appears to be vastly different from what is recorded in their files. With a determined focus, she detects everyone's locations across the battlefield. Chen Chao lands in the west near the altar of metal, while Su Rong positions herself in the north, close to the altar of water. Froggy too lands in the south, near the altar of fire. However, when Yi Shabei looks for Wang Ling's source of spiritual force, it appears to be 0, rendering her unable to detect his location. Tang Jingzhe speculates that Wang Ling might have landed in the east, near the altar of wood, which raises further questions among the team. Meanwhile, Guo Hao hides nearby, eavesdropping on the entire conversation of the Faction 59 team. Just as he thinks he's safe, Tang Jingzhe catches sight of him, but Guo Hao manages to escape, darting away in a panic. He decides to pursue the ginger-haired guy from Faction 59, who is headed to take down Wang Ling, hoping to gain an advantage. Yi Bei pursues Chen Chao, determined to seize control of the altar of metal. Meanwhile, Z employs a clever trick, using a web of dimensions to ensnare her prey, invading their nervous system and producing false neuronal signals to control their body. The result is chaos as Chen Chao begins to beat himself up, confused and unable to stop. Near the altar of fire, Zhang Liuying, disguised as Hu Bufeng, attempts to take down Froggy 2, creating a tense confrontation. Simultaneously, near the altar of wood, Wang Ling lies unconscious, presenting an opportunity for the ginger-haired guy to seize the altar. However, just as he thinks he has the upper hand, Wang Ling stirs and rises to his feet. Guo Hao arrives on the scene, ready for a one-on-one battle with the ginger-haired adversary, setting the stage for an intense showdown. Su Rong, poised to seize the altar of water, suddenly finds herself under attack from Tang Jingzi's spiritual sword. The clash of their powers creates a fierce struggle, as both Sun Rong and Tang Jingzi's sword spirits are exceptionally strong. Their battle is anything but ordinary, a display of skill and determination. Tang Jingzi calls out to Hu Bufeng to join him at the altar of water, fully aware that the figure before him isn't really Hu Bufeng, but someone intent on eliminating Su Rong. By this point, Faction 59 has successfully seized control of 4 altars, while Faction 60 stands at 0, creating a growing sense of urgency. Su Rong decides to use her Oran dance trick to try to defeat Tang Jingzi, but he counters with his blowing snow trick, creating a massive explosion in the water that sends waves crashing around them. Undeterred, Su Rong continues to engage Tang Jingzi, showcasing her exceptional swordsmanship skills. Amidst this fierce struggle, Hu Bufeng arrives on the scene, but Tang Jingzi quickly seals off the lake, making it impossible for Sun Rong to utilize her water escape trick. Just then, a heavy force suddenly attacks them all, resembling a tornado heading their way. The chaotic winds help Sun Rong escape from the confines of the lake, providing her a momentary reprieve. Tang Jingzi coldly tells the fake Hu Bufeng that he doesn't care who he is. All he wants is victory. Just then, an announcement echoes across the battlefield, declaring that Faction 60 has successfully seized the Altar of Wood. This remarkable achievement is the result of Wang Ling and Froggy 2 combining their powers, merging into a single formidable force that surprises everyone. Guo Hao and Ginger Spice from Faction 59 throw down over the Altar of Wood. Guo's mouth cannon goes off like a machine gun, spitting bars and roasts faster than Eminem on Red Bull. The battlefield turns into a literal rap battle, and the insults are flying like nobody's business. Froggy 2 waits patiently for them to release more spiritual power so he can feed on it, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. Unable to think of any more insults for the ginger-haired rival, Guo Hao resorts to calling him names he typically want to use for Wang Ling, drawing from a long list of creative taunts. He labels Wang Ling fake, lame, cowardly, ignorant, arrogant, a loner, and so much more, making Wang Ling feel deeply misunderstood. This fuels a surge of aggravation inside Wang Ling, shattering the amulet seal that holds his emotions and spiritual power in check. Froggy 2 rushes to Wang Ling and urges him to rely on him to devour his negative energy. Wang Ling employs his human-in-beast form trick, combining his power with Froggy 2's to keep his spiritual forces in check. Now Wang Ling and Froggy 2 became one combined force. He approaches the ginger-haired guy and lightly taps him on the shoulder, but the guy feels like a heavy truck hits him in an instant, and then Wang Ling seizes the Altar of Wood. Meanwhile, Yi Bei tracks the locations of all Faction 60 members and reports them to Tang Jingzi. Chen Chao remains unconscious. Guo Hao guards the Altar of Wood, and Su Rong's location is unknown as she uses her water escape trick to evade detection. Tang Jingzi orders his teammates to head to the Altar of Fire and reclaim it from Faction 60, rallying them with fierce determination. Wang Ling arrives at the Altar of Metal and wakes up Chen Chao, whose eyes bulge in shock at the sight of the combined form of Wang Ling and Froggy 2. He quips that a bachelor always needs a dog as a companion, hence they're called bachelor dogs. With a confident grin, Wang Ling then seizes the Altar of Metal, making his team's score go higher. Chen Chao hugs Wang Ling, affectionately caressing his face as if he's a puppy, thrilled to see him smile for the first time. Faction 59 now scores 4 points against Faction 60's 1, again a clear sign of their dominance. Wang Ling's brain goes big brain mode, realizing Tang Jingzi's pulling a 4D chess move with his 3 horses strategy. It's like he's playing StarCraft while everyone else is stuck on Candy Crush. This tactical flex is keeping Faction 60 scrambling like cats on a hot tin roof, maneuver that keeps them on their toes. Now aware that to seize the altars as laid out on the map, no matter how powerful he is, he risks being like a trapped beast. Wang Ling summons his spiritual power. However, Froggy 2 reminds him that while he can devour Wang Ling's negative energy, his capacity is limited, so Wang Ling must proceed with caution and be mindful of his own limits. Su Rong contacts Chen Chao and Wang Ling, informing them that she encountered Guo Hao on her way. Guo Hao mentions to Chen Chao that he was guarding the altar of wood, but when Tang Jingzi and Yisha Bei showed up, he fled in a panic. Chen Chao calls him a coward for running away, but Guo Hao fires back, reminding him that he didn't fight Yisha Bei and fainted, leading to a heated exchange. They begin to bicker until Su Rong shouts at them to stop, asserting that the key to winning this competition is not to defeat the rivals, but to seize all the altars. They should avoid engaging in fights and act quickly if they want to succeed. After locating Su Rong through Yisha Bei, Tang Jingzi sets out to find her again, determined to take his revenge. Su Rong's dropping strategy like it's hot, telling her squad they need to get big brain energy. She hypes up Wang Ling as their secret weapon, and my dude actually blushes. It's like seeing unicorn in the wild, rare AF and totally adorbs. You can feel the squad goals vibes intensifying. She asks Chen Chao to guard the altar of metal while she herself takes Guo Hao with her to seize the altar of fire, choosing the shortest route by traveling through the water to reach it before their rivals. Guo Hao cleverly provokes the guy from Faction 59 into a fight, distracting him just long enough for Su Rong to slip in and seize the altar, but Tang Jingzi is fast approaching to stop her. Meanwhile, Wang Ling successfully claims the altar of water, adding yet another victory to their growing success. A long time ago, the day arrived when Tang Ling's family visited Su Rong's home. Su Rong assured her father that she would behave appropriately because she could do whatever it took to defend his dignity. Mr. Tang, still full of spirit, came with his family to their place. They had known each other's families for generations. Mr. Sun saw Tang Jingzi, who had now grown into quite the young man. They noticed that Su Rong had also blossomed into a graceful lady. She extended her hand to shake hands with Tang Jingzi, and they greeted each other with rage and anger in their eyes. Cut to the sword competition, where Su Rong and Jingzi are about to turn this into a lethal version of Dancing with the Stars. Tang Jingzi's all, "Yo, let's tango." But instead of roses, they're throwing hands and swords. It's less waltz and more Mortal Kombat Cultivation Edition. Su Rong mentions that she has been searching for him for a while now. This war concerns family honor. It is essentially a conflict that has lasted 1,000 years without anyone knowing who the victor is. Guo Hao chases after the weakest member from Faction 59, Liang Zheng, using his mouth cannon to hurl insults at him. But unfortunately, Su Rong gets hit by the words. Guo Hao apologizes to Su Rong. Now injured, Su Rong recalls her father's words, reminding her that they are the descendants of Sun Feng Chao and cannot lose to anyone, especially not to those who have humiliated their family for 14 years with their air of superiority, the Tang family. Fueled by this memory, she becomes enraged. Tang Jingzi sees Liang Zheng fall to the ground and starts yelling at him. Liang Zheng rushes towards Su Rong while Guo Hao creates a wall as a barrier, but Liang Zheng breaks through it with his power. Su Rong attacks him, but he successfully blocks her strikes. She dashes toward her sword, but Tang Jingzi's sword spirit shatters her weapon. Tang Jingzi taunts her that it is a pity she now has no hope of winning. Tang Jingzi punches his own team member, Liang Zheng, and reveals to Su Rong their plan to win 5-0. Su Rong realizes that two Faction 59 members are at the Altar of Wood and the Altar of Earth, respectively. If they seize the Altar of Fire first, they will attempt to capture the other altars to maintain their lead. In that case, they will have to give up defending one of their own altars. Tang Jingzi orders Yisha Bei to go to the Altar of Water to keep watch. Su Rong knows that if they track Wang Ling's every move, even if he can seize the undefended altar easily, they will quickly fill the vacancy he leaves behind. In this scenario, the outcome will be 1-for-1, leaving them with little hope of victory. On the other hand, Chen Chao is engaged in a fierce battle with Hu Bufeng. Chen Chao realizes that Su Rong is right. The key to this competition is not about defeating the opponent, but preventing them from inserting their swords into the altars. Hu Bufeng starts yelling at Chen Chao, calling him a coward. This taunt triggers dark memories from Chen Chao's childhood when he was labeled a coward. He skillfully dodges Hu Bufeng's attacks, impressing everyone watching, as no one expected Chen Chao's endurance in running to be useful in competition. Zhou Yi senses something off. He thinks Hu Bufeng is not fully utilizing his energy. Hu Bufeng spots a metal leaf and begins absorbing everything to launch an attack on Chen Chao. In the past, when Chen Chao's father attacked him, he was saved by divine intervention. He blocks Hu Bufeng's assault, though he sustains injuries from the metal leaves. Tang Jingzi thinks Hu Bufeng is taking too long to take down a foundation student. Su Rong commands Guo Hao to leave Altar of Fire to her, as she brandishes her sword to attack Tang Jingzi, who mocks her. He remembers their childhood when he saw Su Rong crying and now calls her a loser. The fight ensues while Guo Hao conceals his spirit sword's devil teeth for the critical moment. Yisha Bei believes they will win. On the contrary, despite being injured, Chen Chao continues to hold back Hu Bufeng. Hu Bufeng kicks Chen Chao suddenly, and Tang Jingzi is informed that the two spiritual forces are surging because of Guo Hao. The countdown begins, and they all witness the sword spirit, the fire phoenix. Their bodies overflow with overwhelming power. An intense battle erupts as Tang Jingzi sees a different Su Rong, who has now found the motivation to grow stronger. It is announced that Faction 60 has seized the Altar of Wood and the Altar of Fire, while Faction 59 captures one altar, making the seizure by Faction 64. Su Rong's plan worked in her team's favor. Wang Ling possesses an incredible spiritual force after combining it with Froggy 2, but he finds himself alone here. Yisha Bei has decided to seize this altar in case Wang Ling goes elsewhere. They know that when He Bufeng captures the Altar of Metal, the outcome will be determined. Suddenly, she hears the announcement that Faction 60 has seized the Altar of Fire. Yisha Bei is shocked and wonders if Faction 60's participants have truly defeated Tang Jingzi. She runs to convey her message to Hu Bufeng to return to the Altar of Earth immediately. It is announced that Faction 60 has also seized the Altar of Wood, making the total for Faction 59 one seizure and for Faction 64. They feel elated because Wang Ling is fulfilling his mission effectively. Their plan succeeds as they have already decided that Wang Ling will disappear quietly from Yisha Bei's watch. Froggy will transform into human form and remain at the Altar of Water, pretending to be Wang Ling. Yisha Bei wonders who has taken the altar since Wang Ling is still present when, suddenly, Froggy 2 attacks her from behind. She struggles to control him because her spiritual web line is designed for humans, and he is not one. He tells her that she has outsmarted herself. Meanwhile, Sun Rong receives word that the Altar of Metal is still in their possession. Guo Hao instructs Sun Rong to head to the Altar of Earth to join Wang Ling. Wang Ling's father grows increasingly anxious as he watches his son through the monitor. He has become accustomed to ignoring both success and failure, whether he feigns failure or reveals his true powers. He remains indifferent, as he has always been somewhat of an oddball. Rumors circulate that he has psychological issues. For a long time, he has not contemplated the meaning of life. To him, everything is merely an extension of existence. Though Wang Ling's inner heart is closely guarded, he perceives a dim light in Sun Rong that makes his heart race. Whenever he is near her, he feels elated. However, he soon realizes he has found his friends, and in this way, the Songhai Faction 60's spiritual sword team is prepared. No one, not even Wang Ling himself, notices that the dim light has transformed into the warm sun of spring and is about to ignite a fire. Regardless, their score continues to rise. Guo Hao rushes to Chen Chao and finds him unconscious. Yisha Bei lies on the ground after being knocked out by Froggy 2, who laughs, commenting that young people nowadays can't even take a joke. Wang Ling has never experienced this kind of feeling. He tries to restrain himself, yet the more he holds back, the more his emotions overflow. His heart pounds faster and faster as he thinks about Sun Rong. But he suddenly halts when she approaches him to thank him for his actions. The countdown begins and the announcement is made that Faction 60 has seized the Altar of Earth, bringing Faction 59's total to 0 and Faction 60's to 5. They rejoice at having turned the tables. Sun Rong and Wang Ling take their final bows. However, Wang Ling's father does not anticipate this from him. He requests Zhou Yi to show him what is happening at the Altar of Metal. The scene shifts, revealing Guo Hao asking for help, while Mr. Wang yells at Ms. Si, demanding to know why Chen Chao is so severely injured. She informs him that these students are merely at the foundational level, and it takes at least 3 levels in the Golden Pill phase to break through the guarding spiritual figures. The scene transitions to Sun Rong complimenting Wang Ling's smile, which makes him blush. Suddenly, Sun Rong is struck by Jiang Liu Ying, the leader of the Shadow faction, who has reverted to her true form. Wang Ling's rage ignites and his amulet activates. His father rushes to intervene, while Froggy freezes time. Everyone becomes immobilized. Yet even freezing the flow of time cannot stop Wang Ling. He brutally punches Jiang Liu Ying, who laughs upon realizing he has secretly been protecting Sun Rong. She taunts Wang Ling, declaring that it is the end for Sun Rong. The battle erupts as they fight with all their might, their powers overflowing. Wang Ling slams Jiang Liu Ying, delivering a life-ending punch. He disregards everything in his path, fixated solely on defeating her. Jiang Liu Ying suffers greatly but continues to laugh, telling him that he is just as pathetic as she is. Wang Ling is on the verge of punching her to death when he hesitates. Jiang Liu Ying urges him to strike her, claiming he will find relief in her death, but Wang Ling remembers Sun Rong. He approaches Sun Rong, who's lying in his lap while he attempts to use his healing technique, but it fails. Froggy too informs him that his method won't work on Sun Rong because Jiang Liu Ying has harmed her so cruelly that she has torn apart Sun Rong's soul and spirit. Wang Ling sees that Sun Rong is still alive and warm, but Froggy too warns him not to be unreasonable. Once life is gone, it cannot be reclaimed. He explains that Sun Rong's breath remains only because he has halted the flow of time, and once he releases his technique, she will be lost. Wang Ling pleads for another solution, ready to sacrifice all his spiritual force in exchange for her life. Froggy too tells him that while no one can endure his spiritual force, he can assist him in freezing the flow of time indefinitely. In this way, she will retain whatever vitality remains. Time stands still as Wang Ling weeps, determined to live in this world and not let Sun Rong slip away. Sun Rong lies on the ground with her eyes wide open, but her vital spirit has shattered into pieces, leaving her almost like a lifeless body. Froggy too tells Wang Ling that he can't save her with his grand trick, as it only addresses physical damage, not spiritual harm. Wang Ling reflects that if he had dealt with Jiang Liu Ying in time, they wouldn't face so many problems now. Wang Ling hits the cosmic pause button, freezing time like he's got the world's biggest TV remote. But he's not chilling. He's in full-on panic mode, trying to MacGyver a solution. He turns to his sword spirit, this white-haired dude who looks like he walked straight out of JRPG, and he's like, "Yo, can you turn your time tricks into a Dragon Ball Z-style energy beam?" It's some next-level sci-fi shenanigans. The sword spirit warns him that they can only go back in time if their speed surpasses that of light. Froggy too cautions him about the consequences, as reversing time defies nature. Nevertheless, Wang Ling harnesses his spiritual power to journey back and save Sun Rong. Amid flashes of lightning and tremors of the earth, Wang Ling finds himself in his high school. Two tall boys approach him, throwing him to the ground and demanding all the golden pills and spiritual figures he possesses. The same scenes are happening that happened before on his first day as a freshman. Suddenly, a muscular boy intervenes, punching the bully. This cool guy is Chen Chao, the 12th generation of the Songhai Chen family. Then Guo Hao appears with his pentatoxic potion gun and offers Wang Ling a hand to help him up. After school, Wang Ling returns home to have dinner with his family, enjoying the normal, peaceful life he has always wished for. However, this tranquility exists in the old world due to the convergence of Wang Ling's spatial tricks and his sword spirit's time manipulation. The harsh reality is that the new world absorbs everything from the old world, meaning the old world is destined for destruction. The scene shifts to the palace in the underworld, where a man introduces Sun Rong's spirit to the queen. She is shocked to learn that Sun Rong is the daughter of the Flower Fruit Water Curtain group. Suddenly, Sun Rong opens her eyes and asks where she is. The queen rushes to her, assuring her it's just a dream. Meanwhile, students from the high school enter a park known as Heavenly Paradise via bus. Guo Hao asks Wang Ling if he has visited this place before, but Wang Ling is lost in thought, overwhelmed by nostalgia. Wang Ling, Chen Chao, and Guo Hao enjoy amusement rides and lunch. They come across a massive statue called Fairy's Cave, and the park guide tells them that if they put their hand in the fairy's mouth, she'll predict their future. They each take a turn, but when Wang Ling places his hand in the fairy's mouth, the statue cracks, leaving him in shock. Back in the underworld palace, the queen confirms that Sun Rong is Master's descendant and orders that her spirit be returned to her body. Sun Rong's body gains consciousness, no longer lying lifeless. The white-haired sword spirit shows her flashbacks of her life and tells her that Wang Ling, his master, has gone to great lengths and created a new world to save her. If they don't succeed in waking him up in time, the old world will vanish. Meanwhile, Wang Ling sits on a Ferris wheel, tears streaming down his face as his heart feels empty, as if something is missing. Sun Rong, aided by the sword spirit, succeeds in waking up Wang Ling. Sun Rong and Wang Ling are both overjoyed to see each other alive and healthy again. However, Wang Ling worries about whether they can return to save the real old world, as his repairing power fails after acting against nature. Froggy too suggests they might reverse time using the loops of space and time they have created. He warns that this method has a drawback. Sun Rong will lose her memory. He informs Wang Ling that once he wears the amulet, his emotions will again be sealed. But for Wang Ling, all that matters is achieving world peace. Alright, anime fam, that's a wrap on this season of The Daily Life of an Immortal King. We're all dying to know what's next. Will Wang Ling pull off the ultimate isekai and it back to his OG world with Sun Rong? Can Sun Rong unlock those spicy memories of her time with Wang Ling? Or is the old world about to get Thanos snapped out of existence? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that bell for more anime content that slaps. Let's keep this hype train rolling, G. Catch you on the flip side.